So we have completed the big cat circle for the day. Beautiful lions. This is the Tsalala Pride. It's the same pride that was hunting buffalo yesterday with James. So they've moved quite a distance from where they were yesterday. Doesn't look like they've eaten, so maybe they'll try again tonight, who knows. So it looks like 3 young males, maybe around 3 years old I would guess, and then the 2 adult lionesses. Sean, a very good question from you. How many babies can a lion have? Now, it depends. It varies maybe between 1 to 4, I would say. But mostly 2, let's make it 2 to 4. A single cub might not have the best chances of survival. So if the mum has a few different cubs, there's better chances of survival for the cubs, and it's worth the effort. How do you like my little birthday present to myself? Just a bit of mud on the eyes, and I'm using that to get rid of this glare this afternoon. But let's get back to these lions. One's head up and looking around, the other one's flopped back down again, and the 3 boys are very lazy, not wanting to do much. Please lift your hips. So everyone from Sutherland in Elementary would like to know if elephant babies are prey to lions. It does unfortunately happen from time to time that they do fall prey, but their one big defense is a very big mummy. So mum can protect them very well, and elephants are very, very, very protective of their young, and they won't let animals or predators like lions get too close to them in any case. But here and there it will happen, unfortunately, yeah. But these guys, their prey would mostly be buffalo, zebra, wildebeest, maybe a kudu or waterbuck. So medium-sized prey, not really the large ones that we get out here. It's also a much safer bet for them to try and hunt something like that than try and take a young elephant and have to contend with a few of the bigger ones. It's going to be uncomfortable and difficult for them. So kids, this is what lions do best, is sleeping, and they sleep for huge amounts of a day. Maybe 18 hours out of a day just sleeping. How great would life be? I don't think we'd get much done, but yeah. One's up. What's happened to her tail? Davy, do you know what happened with the tail? So she lost her tail to a hyena, and her mother lost it as well. So we'll call them Stompy 1 and 2. Stompy means a stump, so a short little tail. So yeah, Stompy is Afrikaans word. Just look at that face. Hello. Right, folks. All the kids, it's been lovely to spend the afternoon with you. I'm so glad that we could have showed these lions to you. That was awesome. And so we just relaxing here with these lovely Tsalala Pride. All fast asleep, not doing much. Just that one that's put his paw on a branch and playing with it. The branch keeps pushing it up every now and then he uses his power to just push it down. So another new set of cats for me. Another new set of cats for me. This morning we saw the two beautiful leopard, Nkanyeni and Quarantine, and now the Tsalala Pride. I haven't seen them before either. So, yeah, a day filled with adventure. Gabby, aged 7. You are asking about the spots and why they have them. So normally those spots on a lion is when they're young and they grow out of it. So they still, I think all of these lions might be still relatively young, and that's why they have spots. Once they grow older, they grow out of it. It's part of camouflage, especially when they're very, very small. So mum would hide them somewhere and she'll go out feeding or looking for food, go out on the hunt, and come back and find them again. And in that time, it just helps with camouflage to hide these little ones. You can also see this one, this female closest to us, her nose is still pink. So that's also an indication that, oh, how cute is that? Looking for a cuddle buddy. So before she turned around, you could have seen her nose. But yeah, it's still pink and slowly going darker. So I would age her maybe around 4, somewhere there, I think. I'm not 100% sure of the ages of these lions, but I would put them around that age. Sure. Jamal, thank you very much for all that history on these guys. So, these 3 males, their fathers are the Majingilan or the Mapojos? Majingis. Majingilan. Okay, so, and then the 2 lionesses broke away from their original pride to protect these young boys from the Birminghams that came into the area and pushed them off. Okay, interesting. That is so cool. It's amazing what mum would do to, or mothers would do to protect their young. So, having a bit of a wrestle there. Young male's put his back leg on the female and she's not too happy, so she gave a grunt or two, tried to push him off, but looks like they've settled down now. It's quite interesting. When I worked in the southern Sabi Sands, we had the split of the Southern Pride as well, where 3 lionesses split off completely and stayed away for almost a year. They didn't get together at all, did their own thing. And when the males that took over the territory got pushed out, the original ones that took over the territory from a male called the Kruger male, they were the Sand River males, when they got pushed out again, all those females joined up again and started hunting and doing their things together. And now, today, they're back together and doing their thing. I wonder with this nice overcast weather if we're going to get them to move around. David, you would like to know if lions have more ticks than leopards? I actually have no idea, but I would guess just on body size, maybe I would expect them to have more. Often on male lions' legs, you can see at the back of the leg, you can see a fair amount of ticks, but 100% I can't tell you exactly what the amounts are and if they really have more, but I would guess so, yeah. when I look at these young males, I always wonder where they're going to end up and who they're going to push out and become the territorial males of an area. Will they be the ones to push out the Birminghams? Will they move further afield and push out a new coalition or a different coalition that we might not know? Who knows, maybe they'll go into the Kruger Park or into the Manyeleti. It's all still a mystery until they decide to do it. So with territorial males, they might have more than one pride in within a territory or within their territory. So they might have 2 or 3 different female prides in their own territory. And yeah, so they'll move in between. If it's a big coalition, some of the males might split up and each one stay with any of the coalition or any of the prides at any given time. And then when they need to protect the territory, they'll work together again. They'll call each other and try and face off the threat and chase them off. I really hope they decide to give us a bit of action. It's cooling down nicely now. I really hope they might decide to move on a little bit from where they are sleeping now, so we can get to see them moving. So we're going to spend a little bit more time with these lions, but for the time being, let's head over to Taylor for an update, see what she's up to. Alright, if you look at this guy on the left of screen, he's been yawning quite a bit as he's grooming himself. But when he opens his mouth, you'll see his bottom right canine is missing. I wonder where he pulled that out, maybe in a hunt, maybe in a fight. Those 2 boys at the back are bullying each other and biting each other, nibbling on each other. He's rolled around. Decided to start. There we go. There, the canine's missing. That is crazy. I think it happens a lot more often than we think, that these guys lose their teeth in fights and stuff like that. Fights and hunting big prey, a buffalo or a giraffe maybe got. Sure. There's a whole host of different options for why it could be gone. This is all good signs that they're starting to roll around and grooming one. Well, he's grooming himself. The one female got up and moved off a bit further away. So yeah, let's hope. Let's see if they get active. I think this weather is working in their favor and in our favor to see them moving. So we'll be as patient as we can and stay with them for as long as we can. If there's a lot of interest though from other vehicles that would like to see them as well, we'll move on and maybe come back later. But I think let's try and stick with them for as long as we can and try and see if we can get some movement out of these guys. So Rebecca, you are asking if these males are at the age that they can start to breed. I think they can. I've seen young males like this breeding already. It's not the ideal for them, and it's in areas where there's not a high competition or high density of males, and there's not a lot of competition around. They might then start breeding, being given the opportunity. But in an area like this where there is a lot of competition, I don't think there'll be any breeding from them in the near future, at least maybe a year or so, until they're strong enough to really start doing their thing. The thing is, breeding is one thing, but protecting your cubs and the territory that you hold is a whole different thing. So that's where the trick comes in, is being able to protect those babies. And I don't think females will take chances with any of those types of situations, having to go through the whole pregnancy, give birth, start looking after their cubs, and then end up losing them easily because these males can't protect them well enough. So I think they've still got a bit of a way to go, yeah. Shame. But the one male's getting his mane combed, but it looks more like his brother's claws are stuck in his mane rather than being getting a comb. Now that's brotherly love. Ed, you are asking about how big a pride's territory can get. It varies a lot in areas where the densities are quite low. So let's take the Namib Desert with the desert lions. Their territories are massive, like huge areas. Where in an area like this, it's a lot smaller. If I have to think quickly, I would work not even 2,000 square kilometers for a male or for a territory. But it varies depending on the size of a coalition. All those things will play a role in how big and how many prides there'll be in a territory. Come on, lions. Give us a bit of action. Let's see if you want to move around. Let's keep our fingers crossed and there's a prey animal that wants to walk in here. Reese, your question, would that female without the tail struggle more in hunting than the others? I don't think it would make too much of a difference in her ability to hunt. I think the only thing it might do is just a bit of visual communication and knowing where the other lions are or where she is for the other lions. But I don't think it's going to make a massive difference in her ability to take down prey. They don't use the tail in any of that. I think it's more for communication. One tough thing though is if you walk into her, you're going to struggle reading her behavior, because the tail tells us a lot of how this animal is feeding. So if the tail starts swinging around, we know that this cat's not happy with us. We'd better give it space. But yeah, you're going to have to really look closely at her facial expressions and the noises that she'll make to try and figure out if she's happy with us or not. David, do you think we're going to get some movement out of these guys soon?
I hope so.
I really do, eh? All this yawning, all this grooming, all this playing and rolling around each other, it's all good. It's just how long we're going to wait. So, is it going to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour? Who knows? We can stick it out for a bit. What do you think? You happy, Ian? Yeah, I reckon so. I think we spend as much time with these guys as we can. So, with regards to these teeth being missing, I don't think it's going to do anything on the hunting part of the line. It's only one tooth. It's still got 3 other canines, and still it's 4 paws with the claws on it to hunt. So no, I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. Maybe later on in life, when the other teeth start getting more blunt, or maybe lose 1 or 2 more, then it'll make a difference. But 1 canine missing, I think it's going to be all good for this lion. I really wonder if we're going to get wet tonight at some stage. It looks promising. It's nice and dark. Clouds keep moving in. Folks, we're going to spend some more time with these lions. We're going to wait it out and see if we get any action from them. But in the meantime, let's go see what Jamie has got in the tent. So, these lions are still fast asleep. I think this is going to be our last session with these lions, then we're going to carry on. Let's see if we can find some other game as well. But yeah, no, I don't think they're going to get going anytime soon. I think that was all a lot of hope and no proof in that hope at this stage. So yeah, we'll let them do their thing, let them be. They're all still very, very lazy. Hopefully they get lucky though tonight and maybe find some food for them. Sorry, I just heard a funny noise coming from somewhere. I'm not sure what that was. Yeah, maybe they'll bump into another herd of buffalo and get to eventually get their meal that they tried for so desperately yesterday. Well, I don't know how desperate they were yesterday, but they foiled efforts. So, Sarah, you'd like to know if when lions split up in their pride and then eventually get back together, if it's difficult to get together again. I think because they're related, the females will have some form of a bond, and through a bit of a greeting ritual and just reaffirming those bonds, everything should be fine. An unrelated female wouldn't be allowed back, I don't think. Well, into the pride first of all, and yeah, they'd push her off. I think it might go, at first there might be a couple of snarls at one another and a bit of fighting, but they'll accept each other and then get going again as a normal pride. There'll be a lot of touching and caressing each other for the first bit, just getting those bonds back to a good strength, and then I think they're 100% fine. Wonder what else we'll be able to bump into this afternoon. Just look at those paws. Look how massive those paws are. I think the wind's quite strong, so it's playing with a bit of noise on our mics. Apologies for that. I'll try and sort that out. Folks, I think it's time for us to leave these lions in peace. Let them enjoy the rest of their afternoon snooze, and hopefully they'll get up to some mischief tonight, maybe find some food. while we make our way out of the bush back onto the road, let's go see what Taylor's got on Cheetah Plains.